France has many spectacular aviation museums, but few have the same attention to civilian aircraft that Toulouse's Aeroscopia museum has. Found just outside the airport and right beside Airbus's European headquarters, it is no surprise that there are many airliners to be found here that would usually be too big for anywhere else to display. The museum has a bit of everything though, so military aviation enthusiasts will also be covered. Located to the northwest of the city of Toulouse in the south of France, the Aeroscopia Museum can be found by the airport. Getting there from the centre is easy, as you can take the tram to a dedicated stop within a nearby residential street. Then it is just a short walk over to the huge hangar, where the majority of the exhibits are held. Upon passing the visitors centre, the first exhibit that greets you is probably one of the strangest aircraft ever designed, the Airbus Guppy. Using a modified Stratocruiser airframe, the Guppy could transport large aircraft components to different factories that would otherwise be too bulky to transport. The aircraft is displayed so you can wander in towards the fuselage. It's literally like being swallowed by a whale, this is. The Guppy is just one of the large aircraft held at the museum, and as we're about to find out, there's a lot more of them. Probably just as recognisable to the general public as the famous Boeing 747 jumbo jet, the Concorde is one of 2 airliners available to explore within the hangar. You can take a look inside at the cockpit and the relatively cramped fuselage cabin. And once you've finished going through the Concorde, you can go straight on to the next one, an Airbus A380. The Airbus A380 was Europe's answer to a rapidly growing market of jet-engined airliners that were almost entirely dominated by American-made aircraft. First entering service in the 1970s, the Airbus company developed further models and now is a serious competitor for Boeing, the main other giant of the civil aviation industry. I'm not too sure about some of the layout though. Is that bed meant to be standard equipment? To complement the actual aircraft on display, there are also plenty of information boards and large-scale models of aircraft on show. As you make your way down to the ground floor of the museum, you can then get up close and personal to the airliners, walking directly under the massive wings of the Concorde and towards the Olympus engines. Much smaller civil aircraft can be found down here too, these being absolutely dwarfed by the size of the nearby Concorde. If you had thought by now that this is just a museum for people who like civil aviation, don't worry just yet. Although not the main selling point of this museum, and more something that you would find in the Ancient Wings Museum next door, there are a fair number of military jets on show. Hiding away in amongst the large aircraft here in the hangar are a number of military aircraft, including the Seppicat Jaguar, the Saab Draken and the Vought Crusader. Starting off with the Crusader then, this served the French Navy as one of only 2 other users of this aircraft outside America. Other French aircraft here are the Flying Magister trainer, one of my personal favourite aircraft, and the similar but much lesser known Moraine Soarliner MS 760 Paris. There is also an example of the Anglo-French Seppicat Jaguar ground attack bomber and the all-French designed Dassault Mirage 3 in a desert scheme. A few foreign aircraft are also on display here, including a Mikoyan MiG-15, Lockheed F-104 Starfighter in Luftwaffe markings, and a Saab J-35 Draken in an Austrian Air Force scheme. The best viewpoint to see the Saab's Delta wing design can be taken from the rear of the Airbus A380 that we've just toured through. There are many unusual planes here, ones you certainly wouldn't see at many other museums, such as this used for meteorological research, and something that looks like a harmless mini A-10 Thunderbolt. It's not just this one hangar to explore though, more large aircraft await outside. At this point, I really wish I had a better weather day for exploring, as it was dull and grey outside, and the planes were either white or grey. Firstly, we'll take a look at the few aircraft outside the main hangar by the visitors centre, and the first aircraft will look familiar. This museum holds not 1, but 2 Concordes. That's pretty impressive considering how few of these were built in the first place. In Air France livery, the Concorde served in limited numbers with this airline and British Airways up until the early 2000s as the world's only supersonic airliner. France was one of the only countries in the world to have an aviation industry able to build jet airliners, and an example of the early years of this is the Caravelle. Moving on to military aircraft one last time is the C-160 Transall, which was the result of a multinational European effort to build a medium-lift transport aircraft for military use. This example is in special markings, as the type has only recently been retired from active service with the French Air Force. Across the hangar and to the other side are even more airliners languishing on the tarmac. Toulouse is the centre of Europe's aviation industry, and as such, they've been able to sneak in some pretty big aircraft. Where else would you be able to see complete examples of the Airbus A380, A320 and A340 all in one place? Well, maybe an airport, I guess. This part of the Aviation Museum is excellent, as you get to wander around and take all the pictures of the aircraft you want, without having to worry about getting stopped by staff or airport security. As the largest passenger aircraft in the world, the Airbus A380 is accessible to visitors where you can see the spacious modern cockpit and the two large cabins of this double-decker airliner. Airbus also owns a percentage of the company ATR, which specialise in propeller-driven short-range airliners. The museum has two examples of their products, the ATR-42 and the ATR-72. If you have enjoyed this video on the Aeroscopia Air Museum, why not leave a like and follow my channel for more, and I'll bring you many more videos on aviation museums from around the world. However, until next time, see you around.